Hey everybody, Halloween is a week and change away, and I thought I'd take this time to take out my horror DVDs and look at them briefly. Any disclaimers? I probably have an equal amount of VHS stuff that's been packed away for years. Maybe one day I'll get those out. Horror adjacent stuff, some's here, some isn't. Two of my favorites, of course, David Cronenberg, David Lynch. They're not in here. Maybe some other day I'll make a video on those guys. Some of these are good, some of them are not. We're just going to go through them real quick. So, we're going to start off with some movies by Lucio Fulci, the famous Italian director. This is one of his more well-known ones, 1979 Zombie. This is a Blue Underground edition from 2004. The other day I put on The Beyond. I don't own that on DVD, and I always thought that movie was kind of basic, like cool atmosphere, but things just happening. But that's a good one. Another one by Fulci, City of the Living Dead. I think this is also called The Gates of Hell, I think. Lizard in a Woman's Skin is more of a giallo or a weird erotic thriller. Pretty cool edition here. 2-disc. I think I've only watched this movie twice. It's been a long time. Four of the Apocalypse. Not really a horror movie. It's more of a violent western, but it is a Fulci movie, so I'll put it in here. A bunch of Fulci movies I've never seen. There's like 3 of them that are now available on Shudder, which I do subscribe to. And Halloween's almost here, and I just not have gotten around to watching those. There's supposed to be some of his not so great ones, but still got some time. This is a weird one. Don't Torture a Duckling. So, this is a movie about a small Italian village with a lot of young boys going missing. And I think it turns out that the local priest is killing them. It's an okay movie, but I only watched it once. I remember back in my early 20s, my mom and I went to the Toronto Museum together, and it was my birthday, and walking out of there, she said, go buy some DVDs or whatever, some albums if you want. And that's when I got this one. The New York Ripper. This is a slasher type of movie from Fulci. Made some parallels with a Maniac. It's just very New York City. What year was it? 1982. Very violent, mean-spirited, controversial movie. And my final DVD from Lucio Fulci is Contraband, which is more of a gangster Italian drug trafficking movie. A couple very violent scenes, including one unfortunate guy getting his face melted off, I think with a blowtorch or something. Well, that's a pretty good movie. Friday the 13th Uncut. Didn't remember that I had this one. I guess that must be the first one. I'm not the biggest Friday the 13th guy. Of course they're fun, but no matter how many times I see them, I never am able to differentiate one from the other. I'm definitely more into Halloween and, to a small extent, Nightmare on Elm Street of the big names. Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D. I haven't tried to watch a 3D movie at home in forever. But I think you just get a pair from the movie theater. These come with it. Yeah. Friday the 13th, 3D glasses. There we go. That brings me back, the red and blue. Let me watch that today. I'll see how that looks. I got the full week off leading into Halloween, so lots of time for fun stuff. Finally, from Friday the 13th, I have, what's that, Part 7 and Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Of course, Jason Takes Manhattan is known to be one of the really bad ones, but it is one of those so bad it's good movies, if you ask me. So definitely worth checking out. Not quite as fun is Inside, unrated. This was the French movie from, oh, that was probably the early 2000s. No, 2007. I believe this was remade. Was an American version. Never saw that. I saw this movie twice. Very effective, but it's just not really the kind of thing that I'm looking to watch anymore. I don't mind if a movie's really gory. Just, you know, the concept of this. It's pretty gruesome. And as you get older, you're less into that stuff. I forgot about this one. Amer. This is a... I'm seeing a lot of Italian names in here. But I think this is a Belgian movie. Came out in 2009. Experimental Giallo. I didn't really know what to make of this when I saw it. I liked it, but I couldn't really tell you a thing about it. I'm going to check this out again, especially because I'm looking at the bonus features, and they have a bunch of short films by the same director, which I don't think I've ever gotten around to checking out. There's a classic, Chopping Mall. What year was that? Had up in the 80s. I'll try to stop wasting your time looking for dates. The 80s. 80s style slasher. Wouldn't say it's funny, but silly for sure. Classic, Angel Heart. Very dark movie. Not something I'm really interested in going back to that often, but the praise I keep hearing makes me think it's time to give this one another look. 1987, Robert De Niro, Mickey Rourke. One of my favorites, Cabin in the Woods. (2012). Most of you have probably seen this one. A lot of fun, very original, definitely some curveballs. And I'll never forget this movie. My wife and I watched it opening week. And it was a packed theater, and I felt everyone was surprised, everyone had fun, and I go to the movies all the time, and that was probably like a top 10 movie-going memory. It's a good night. Thirst. I believe this is a Korean vampire movie. Slow, erotic. I wasn't hugely into this. I thought it was well done. I just thought it dragged a bit. Trick or Treat. Everyone knows this movie. Some people really like it, and some people say, you know, it's just, yes, it has a lot of cool Halloween imagery. You got the fall colors. You got the jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. But is it a good movie? Well, I personally think it's a good, not great movie. Definitely awesome for throwing on in the background. Got a lot of memories of this over the years. And despite the fact that people don't really talk about the movie that much, I mean, I was just at Spirit Halloween yesterday with my son buying his Halloween costume. He's going to Sonic the Hedgehog. But Sam, he's just everywhere. So many Sam merchandise around the store. Anthology, if I didn't mention. Here's an old school movie, 1958, The Blob, Steve McQueen. It's cool for a historical watch. I lost my original packaging for this. This is Ichi the Killer. I bought this, it was like 20 years ago, and it was in a pouch, a see-through pouch that was like filled with blood, like an envelope of blood. And I don't know what I did with that, but I probably punctured it and threw it away. So yeah, that movie at the time was regarded as one of the most disturbing movies ever. And it's certainly been eclipsed since then. And is it a horror movie? It's more of a extremely violent, extremely graphic Japanese crime movie. But at the time, I watched, like, when I first got this DVD, I probably watched it 20 times within the course of a couple years. I always thought it was really good. Let Me In. This is the American version of Let the Right One In. Again, this movie's probably close to 15 years old now. Saw it at the theater. I never read the book. Maybe one day I will. Everyone says the book's great. Is Let the Right One In the Swedish movie or this one better? I like them both. Neither one really stood out as being better than the other. Horror Hotel. This was... I'm sorry, I promise I stopped looking at the dates. Someone whose opinion I respect said that this is an amazing movie with a great atmosphere leading into Halloween. So a couple years ago, I did find this at one of my favorite used record stores. And I gotta be honest with you, I watched the first half of this movie 3 times. I keep falling asleep. It's no judgment on the movie. I start watching movies too late and can't stay up. But I'm going to put this aside. This Halloween, I'm going to finish it. VHS. This is the first in the anthology series. Generally speaking, I think they are found footage anthologies pretty much all the time. So they made 3 of these movies in fairly quick succession, went away for a while, and now there have been 3 more made, I think in 3 years in a row, all available on Shudder. I hear mixed things about those, but I think they're all really good. I finished the newest one, which is VHS 1985. I finished that a couple nights ago. I thought it was great. Here's another old movie, The Terror, featuring Jack Nicholson. So this is directed by Roger Corman. Seems like Jack gets summoned by a temptress to a castle with a bunch of crazy things happen. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think I've ever finished this movie. Found the dollar store like 10 years ago. Not a movie, but this is a old TV show called One Step Beyond, and this is called The Very Best of One Step Beyond. 50 episodes. I always heard this was a really creepy show from back in the day. All black and white. Twilight Zone kind of thing. I watched maybe half of these before I put them to the side, but I thought it was good. Maybe one day when I have more time. The Snowtown Murders. There was a point in my life when I was attracted to watching movies that kind of really go there. And I found this movie for like $5, and I was hearing those types of things about this Australian movie. Not really, a Halloween horror movie. More of a disturbing murder in a small town movie. Not fun, but I can respect what they were doing. Another horror adjacent. This is Hobo with a Shotgun. Cool package here. Canadian movie. Again, more extremely violent and over the top. than scary. I remember I saw this at the theater when it came out. Blew my mind. Another one of my top 10 theater going experiences. We had a lot of fun. Savage Cinema. This is a 12 movie collection, exploitation and horror movies from the 60s and 70s. None of these are really standing out. Scanners, The Showdown. So I guess after the original Scanners by David Cronenberg, a bunch of other movies came out using the Scanners name, but Cronenberg was not affiliated with it. I'm not sure how that all came about. I guess the Scanners title was probably owned by someone else, and they kept making some low-budget movies after Cronenberg was out of the picture. Is this a Canadian movie? Not sure. I also seen a couple, I think it's called Scanner Cop, loosely affiliated with these movies. I saw it once. It was kind of whatever. Scanners, awesome movie. I'm not talking about any David Cronenberg movies. Maybe one day I'll take a look at his stuff. And you know, I live in Canada, and David Cronenberg's Canadian. And the good thing about that is, all of his movies, even if they're not very popular, are going to get a pretty good theatrical release. And any public library is generally going to have his movies. So I get Scanners from there if I want to watch it. One of the best movies ever, the original Wicker Man. The remake with Nicolas Cage. I've never watched that movie. And again, it's one of those apparently terrible movies that's worth a laugh. Definitely seems to be worth my time. So I'll be doing that this week. Amazing atmosphere, great plot, never gets old, great soundtrack, love it. And finally, The Host. This is a Korean monster movie. I think they remade this as an American movie, I think. I never even finished this one. Wasn't really my thing. That's it for this video. Gonna make 3 or 4 of these. Thanks for watching.